The Hungarian-American businessman George Soros, famous for having made his billions by short-selling stocks, recently made headlines when he questioned Indian democracy, and expressed a hope that the Indian government of Prime Minister Narendra Modi needed to be weakened to strengthen democracy in the country. Soros is one of the world's biggest funders of ostensibly democratic causes, through his Open Society foundations, in more than 100 countries. So why is Soros, who is 92 years old, attacking India? For one, Soros hates nationalists. Having spent his childhood years in Nazi-occupied, Soros is extremely suspicious of any kind of nationalism, and does not understand that without nationalism, countries that were once ruled by colonialism would have never become free. Therefore, he does not understand the importance of nationalism in post-colonial nations. His hatred for India comes from the fact that he believes India is turning more nationalistic. To stop this, Soros and his foundations are pouring in billions of dollars in propaganda bodies around the world, which have deeply problematic connections, including with terror organizations and Pakistan's spy agency, ISI. Consider Khalid Beydoun. This social media activist never spoke about Kashmir till 2019. He became very vocal about alleged human rights violations in Kashmir, only after receiving a Soros Equality Fellowship in 2018. People like Beydoun, Sunita Vishwanath, and Gregory Stanton have been promoting the false narrative of atrocities against minorities and Muslim genocide in India in the last few years. Vishwanath is a former associate director at Soros Reproductive Health Fellowship, and her work in Afghanistan is funded by the Open Society foundations of George Soros, as is Stanton, who has earlier worked in Cambodia on Soros funding. Another notorious recipient of funding from George Soros and his organizations is American activist then Mosey Soundara-Rajan, Dalit Diva, who set up equality labs and pushes propaganda about caste discrimination and violence in India across the world, and especially in Silicon Valley, accusing Indian tech talent on fake caste issues. Soundara-Rajan also has an old nexus with the terror-accused Islamist group Jamaat-e-Islami. This kind of spurious caste discourse was pushed by the activist, P.T. Rajashekar, whose son Salil Shetty is now the vice president of the Open Society Foundations. Shetty was earlier the head of Amnesty International and Action Aid in India, which have been banned from receiving foreign funds by the Indian government. Before Shetty, Action Aid was managed in India by the former bureaucrat, Harsh Manda. Manda was not only a former member of the National Advisory Council, but also one of the advisors of the Justice Foundation, created by ISI handler Ayub Thakur. Manda is also the former chairman of Open Society Foundation's Human Rights Initiative Advisory Board. In fact, even the French NGO, Sherpa Association, which tried to stall the sale of Rafale fighter jets from France to India, has also received funding from Soros Open Society foundations, as have organizations like Freedom House, which have given low ranking to India's democratic credentials in the recent past. George Soros, then, is the thread that joins many nefarious activism to promote the fake narrative, to declining Indian democracy, and to insidiously push for regime change. It is time the world gets to know the real facts about Soros and his dark agenda against India.